From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It is 5 o'clock here on your Monday. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey.
Lauren, good morning. I'm Rafael Sanchez. Here are your headlines on this September the 21st.
I heard the commotion and kept it going. And once I got a little bit down, I heard the gunshots and I started fast walking.
A disturbance at an East Side apartment complex leads to a shootout with police. The very latest on the investigation this morning.
Plus, making voting easier for Hoosiers, our Kelsey Anderson shows us how several organizations are coming together to help make your voice heard at the polls.
And bringing awareness to the need for organ and tissue donations. The event that's honoring the life of Brian Clausen while helping to save lives. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Monday. All I have to say, Lauren Casey, is wow, what a weekend.
Oh,
and
yes.
I can only hope, Todd Clausen, that we're in for a repeat because, again, wow. That's all I'm going to say, wow.
Yes, it was a beautiful, picture-perfect weekend here in central Indiana, other than the fact that, yeah, of course, we need some rain. We've hardly got any rain south of Indianapolis, but, Todd, in terms of getting outside, maybe going on a walk, it was just perfect.
Yeah, you know, and it's the weekend, right? You always want a rain-free weekend, at least. If it's going to rain, it might as well be in the middle of the week. So it was a beautiful weekend. And to answer your question, Raphael, yes, we're going to carry that over here into at least your Monday. Beautiful shot of the city skyline from IMS here this morning with the Salesforce Tower. Here's the War Memorial all lit up here just north of downtown, and temperatures are very comfortable. 50 in Indy right now, a little cooler to the south. Bloomington, you're at 42 degrees. In Lafayette, currently at 51 this morning. The skies are mainly clear across most of the area. We had this one little band of cloud cover sneak through northern locations here throughout the overnight hours. But other than that, we are in great shape. There's a little front here to our west, but that will not impact us here in central Indiana. So going forward in this forecast today, completely sunny throughout the morning, the afternoon, and into the evening hours. The only thing that really changes today, obviously, is going to be the temperature, 48 degrees at 8 a.m. into the upper 60s by the time we get to the noon hour, with our high temperature today getting up to right around 75 to 80 degrees, depending on where you live. 77 is average for this time of year, so just a sunny, seasonable Monday to kick off our work week. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you are heading out there this Monday morning. This is a live look from our camera here at I-65 and 30th Street. This is north of the downtown area, and you can see traffic moving northbound and southbound here is traveling smoothly. We'll continue to keep a close eye on the roads throughout your Monday and let you know if there are any trouble spots you need to avoid. Raphael?
This morning, 3 people, Lauren, are recovering after a shooting at an East Side apartment complex, including the alleged gunman who police say shot at them. Now, this all started just about the noon hour Sunday when officers were called to the Parkway Terrace apartments, and that's on Pleasant Run Parkway. Police tell us when they arrived there was, quote, a large disturbance with a firearm. We're told the male suspect fired shots at an officer who then returned gunfire. The man was injured during the shootout and later taken to the hospital. 2 female victims were also taken to the hospital. We spoke to a neighbor who described the chaotic scene there on the city's Far East Side.
One of the girls was running towards Washington Street that I guess was shooting, or she got shot. I think she was full of blood. And she was running towards Washington Street, and then I seen another young lady running between the buildings there. And one of the girls was right by my door laying on the ground yelling, "My sister's been shot," you know. It was so scary. I know that they had canines running for another girl that had ran. And I guess the fight broke out between the girls, and the guy was jumped in it.
Right now, investigators are looking at surveillance video, and they're talking also with witnesses to figure out what led up to that shooting. All 3 people injured, including the alleged gunman, are said to be in stable condition this morning.
Well, police are also investigating the death of a man on the northeast side. His body was found at an apartment complex around 2:30 Sunday morning. Officers were called to the 7900 block of Red Mill Drive, that's off North Franklin Road and 38th Street, on reports of an unresponsive person. The man was pronounced dead at the scene. After further investigation, the death was ruled a homicide. We are still waiting to learn the victim's identity. Let's turn now to the race for the White House. The election is just 43 days away, and it's expected to be a record year for voter turnout.
This morning, WRTV's Kelsey Anderson joins us live with how a nonpartisan group is registering voters. Kelsey, good morning.
Well,
Well, tomorrow is National Voter Registration Day, and the local group Go Vote Indy is hosting a block party here at Hi-Fi Annex, and they're hosting it and it's for voters of any political party to register to vote. The event will take place at the Hi-Fi Annex starting at 6 p.m. It's an outdoor venue, so social distancing is possible and masks are required. And this event is for all ages. Go Vote Indy, along with other grassroots organizations, will be here to help voters register, urge people to volunteer at the polls, and to drive other voters to the polls.
No matter who you would vote for during this election, that everyone should have the same opportunities, equal opportunities to be able to cast their ballot on Election Day.
Now, once registration closes October 5th, the focus turns to educating voters and making sure barriers that were in place for the primary election in Marion County don't keep people from casting their vote in the general election. Now, to vote in November, you must register by October 5th, and to vote by mail, you need to request that absentee ballot by October 22nd. So for more information on voting and those deadlines, head over to WRTV.com. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you so much. Now to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic and its impact right here on our state. The state health department now reporting 756 new cases of COVID-19. That brings the total number of positive cases in Indiana to 111,505. 3 additional Hoosier deaths also reported by the state on Sunday. Since the pandemic began, 3,281 Hoosiers had died with COVID-19. Now, the state remains in good shape when it comes to hospital preparedness. Nearly 43% of all ICU beds are available. COVID patients are occupying 9.5% of those beds. About 82% of the state's ventilators are also available. 2.5% of those are being used by COVID patients.
Well, more colleges and universities are canceling spring break amid concerns about travel during the coronavirus pandemic. On Thursday, the University of Michigan became one of the latest to scrap the traditional break. Michigan joins other Big Ten universities, including Purdue, Ohio State, University of Wisconsin, and University of Iowa. Several other schools have also taken similar actions. IU and Ball State, which are located in the only 2 Indiana counties listed in the moderate risk, they have not announced their spring break plans just yet. Last week, Ball State administrators did unveil a proposal to cancel the break, but a decision there has not been made.
So, Lauren, the Big Ten 2020 football schedules, they are out, and IU and Purdue will both start games on October the 24th. The Boilers will face off against Iowa at home. The Hoosiers will take on Penn State. All teams will play an 8-game regular season. The Big Ten championship game is scheduled to be played at Lucas Oil Stadium. That's on December the 19th. You can find the entire schedule by clicking on this story on our website, WRTV.com, as well as the WRTV app.
At 5:08, the Noblesville community continues to honor the life of race car driver Brian Clausen, while also bringing awareness to the need for organ and tissue donations. Indiana Donor Network held its annual Stretch to Save Lives dog walk on Sunday at Dillon Park. Clausen was a Noblesville native who died after a crash in Kansas back in 2016. He was able to save 5 lives and enhance the lives of more than 75 people through organ and tissue donation. His sisters say that her family did not know a lot about organ donation until he passed away, but his gift to others has put a light in their lives during a dark time. So now they are passionate about raising awareness.
So there's currently 113,000 people nationwide waiting for a life-saving transplant. So that's life or death for those people. And the fact that Brian was able to give another opportunity of life to somebody is just incredible. And it's very humbling. And I think it speaks to who he was as not only a person in the community, but also who he was deep down inside.
Clausen's sister says that holding this event in Noblesville is special to them because the Noblesville community has wrapped their arms around them since he passed away. And they had perfect weather for a dog walk. Todd, we had great weather here over the weekend.
You know, it's been absolutely beautiful, really, for a while here across central Indiana. We've had the pleasant days, the cool nights, and the clear skies. But we honestly do need some rainfall. Still on track for the driest September on record, at least for Indianapolis. We've only had 400 of an inch in the last 33 days when you go back even into August. And at least for the month of Indianapolis, we're now 2 inches below where we should be as far as rainfall goes. And there's not much rain in this forecast until maybe the middle to end of the week. And even then, it's just some spotty chances. So as the kids head off to school today, jacket needed this morning with temperatures in the 40s. As the kids come home, it's another beautiful afternoon for us with lots of sunshine, low humidity and temperatures that'll be anywhere from about 74 to 78 degrees, depending on where you live. So you can send the kids outside and no issues at all. I'll talk about some of those rain chances potentially heading our way coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you so much. Morning RBG, the death of the Supreme Court Justice and the ripple effect across the country and the political world.
Continued dry weather threatening some Indiana communities. Just after the break, the warning from the state fire marshal. It's 5:10. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Tributes continue to pour in for Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. The 87-year-old died on Friday from complications from pancreatic cancer.
And Lauren, while many continue to mourn the beloved justice, affectionately known as RBG, her death is sparking an intense debate in Washington over whether her seat should be filled before November. President Trump last night held a tele-rally on Facebook saying he will announce his nominee sometime this week, and Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is promising the president's choice will get a vote on the floor of the Senate, a reversal of his position in 2016 when he refused to consider President Obama's nominee during an election year. Meanwhile, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she's not taking anything off the table to stop a nomination before the election.
This vacancy should not be filled by this lame duck president.
We have arrows in our quiver that I'm not about to discuss right now. But the fact is, we have a big challenge in our country. This president has threatened to not even accept the results of the election.
At least 4 members of the Republican Party would need to join Democrats to delay a confirmation for the president's nominee. Republicans Lisa Murkowski of Alaska and Susan Collins of Maine have already said they will not support a vote before the election.
It is 5:15 and the Gulf Coast is bracing for yet another storm. People in Seabrook, Texas were already seeing the force of Tropical Storm Beta on Sunday. Water began to rise, forcing some to pull down storm shutters just in case. This morning, nearly 10 million people are under tropical storm warnings as Beta heads up the Gulf Coast. There's been so many storms this season, we've made it to the Greek alphabet. The only other time that's ever happened was back in 2005.
Here at home, there are 2 counties right now under burn bans as the dry weather continues increasing the risk of the potential for fires, of course. That ban is in effect for Martin and Lawrence counties. The state fire marshal is putting out a warning for everyone to please take precautions, especially if you plan on activities like grilling or campfires, burning limbs or branches, or even setting off fireworks. There is a potential to cause a large fire. The fire marshal says you need to make sure you have water nearby and a way to extinguish a fire if one starts.
So if you're out, if you're at a campground, or even at home in the backyard, we certainly want you to exercise caution when having open burning. Certainly look at your local guidelines for local burning in your communities. Some of the suggestions are a burn pit. Also, we would suggest a mesh screen over the top to cut down on embers that might be flying away.
Some good ideas there. Here's a look at that drought monitor map from the Indiana Department of Homeland Security. It shows a majority of our state under abnormally dry conditions. And Todd, without a question, we could use some rain sometime this week.
You know, and there's some small opportunities. You heard Lauren talking about Tropical Storm Beta. That could give us some rainfall as we probably get into the late Wednesday, early time frame. And then as we head into the weekend, there's some rain chances as well. But overall, it's still a fairly dry week for us. And today is going to be a sunny day. So it's going to be seasonable as well. We'll have that nice bright blue sky because the humidity is going to be pretty low. But as the week progresses, progresses, we're going to get back into that wildfire smoke returning to give us kind of that milky looking sky. That's probably going to start to happen tomorrow and then into Wednesday. And as I mentioned, there are some small rain chances going forward in this forecast into the coming days. This morning, you need the light jacket as you walk out the door. Once again, very comfortable. Greencastle 42, 43 in Muncie. Indy's still at 50 degrees. Over in Greenfield, you're at 49 and it's 42 in Bloomington. You're one of the cool spots with skies that again are completely clear all across the area. Here's a weak little front. It's going to kind of bypass us to the north, so you're not going to have to worry about that in the forecast here for the day today. So temperatures over the next few hours, we'll probably see our temperatures with the clear skies and light winds here this morning drop another degree or two into the upper 40s at 8 a.m. Then as we work our way into the mid-morning hours, temperatures will start to climb quite quickly and will level off in the mid-70s here in northern locations. Logansport, Kokomo, Anderson, 75 degrees as you work your way into Newcastle and Shelbyville, 75 to 77 degrees, 77 in Crawfordsville. And then here in southern locations, more of the same. Temperatures in the mid-70s. Just an overall very pleasant day for us all across the area. This evening, mainly clear skies. Once the sun sets, we do cool off very quickly once again, back down into the mid-60s and then eventually into the low 60s across the area. And tomorrow morning, we're still in the 40s. But I do think tomorrow morning is probably the last morning of the widespread 40-degree temperatures, as even low temperatures are going to start to moderate a little bit as we head into the coming days. Tomorrow, it won't be quite as sunny. We'll call it partly cloudy compared to today when there's not going to be a cloud in the sky, but temperatures still going up into the mid-70s. And here's that wildfire smoke index. This morning, it's still off to our west. As I advance it, watch the timestamp here in the top right here portion of your corner. As we get into Tuesday and Wednesday, some of that wildfire smoke starts to make its way back into the Midwest. So the sky won't be the bright blue sky like we have out there today and that we had over the weekend. It'll start to be more filtered in nature. And then as we work our way towards the weekend, it's going to be warm, back up to near 80 degrees. Some spotty storm chances Friday and Saturday, a little better in the way of rainfall chances, Raphael, as we work our way into the day on Sunday.
Todd, thank you so much. Aerospace giant Raytheon Technologies has announced it is cutting 15,000 jobs. The company is blaming that move on a drop in air travel since the pandemic. Now on Friday, Raytheon's president and CEO said that he doesn't expect a full return to commercial flight until around the year 2023. Major U.S. airlines are also expecting to lay off or furlough thousands of workers on October the 1st. A playmaker Boeing is also planning to cut more than 16,000 jobs.
It is 5:20. Sunday night's Emmys, or the Pand Emmys, as host Jimmy Kimmel called it, was one for the record books. It was the first major award show since the pandemic began. The show was live, but the nominees were at home. Some 130 cameras were used in cities and 10 countries for the television's biggest night. Schitt's Creek became the first series ever to sweep the comedy category. 24-year-old actress Zendaya became the youngest ever Emmy winner for the Best Actress in the Drama for her role in HBO's Euphoria. Regina King took home her 4th award in 6 years. King and Uzo Adobo seized the opportunity to pay tribute to Breonna Taylor, wearing a shirt that said, "Say her name." King and several other winners there also urging viewers to vote.
If you know a bride-to-be who works on the front lines of the pandemic, a local dress shop wants to hear from you. Coming up, what that shop is offering to help make one bride's special day, Lauren, really extra special.
Love that. Well, Indianapolis could become a bubble for the college basketball tournament this winter. Just ahead here at 5:30, what we know about the proposal. It is 5:21. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Planning to say I do amid a pandemic, it is a challenge, Raphael, all on its own. Now imagine preparing for a wedding while also juggling the stress of being a frontline worker.
And frontline workers deserve all the best, right? So an Indianapolis bridal shop hopes to help make saying yes to the dress much easier during these trying times. Marie Gabriel Couture is a family-owned bridal store, and Pronovius has provided the shop with a wedding dress to gift to a Central Indiana frontline worker. They will be able to pick one dress from 5 options. The owners are asking for nominations from the community to help them find a bride in need.
It's just someone who's out there and putting themselves more at risk than others. It can be a kind of a stressful thing selecting their wedding dress, and of course the cost of a wedding dress. It's just a huge weight lifted off your shoulders, especially a bride who is working in healthcare right now has been going through. I'm sure it's just one less thing that you have to worry about, and we're just excited that we can offer that to a lucky bride.
But wait, there is more. Along with the free Pronovia's wedding dress, Marie Gabriel Couture will provide complimentary alterations as well. Now, the bride chosen must be getting married in 2021. You can nominate a healthcare or a frontline worker who you believe deserves a free wedding dress. We have all of that information right now on our website, WRTV.com. What a good deal. That's a good thing going on right there.
Wow, I love that idea. I feel like those are the people that could use maybe a little hand up during this time. So hopefully some lucky gal from right here in the central Indiana area will get the dress of her dreams. All right, Todd.
Yeah, maybe.
If anyone has had a wedding over the weekend, they had great weather because likely it was outside.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you know, September, October, always big times to have weddings outdoors, right? Because the leaves are starting to change. And the weather cooperated this weekend. It's going to carry over into today as well. That's the good news. We start to see some change in the forecast as we work our way towards the end of the week. But today's just one of those days. Once again, that's going to be sun-filled from start to finish. A little cool this morning in the 40s, going into the mid to upper 70s later on this afternoon. Get out there and enjoy. I'll talk about some of those minor changes that head into our forecast as the week progresses, coming up in the next half hour of Good Morning Indiana. The time now is 5:27. Stay with us. We're back in just a couple minutes.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
3 people killed, another injured in a fiery plane crash up in Kokomo. We'll have the latest on that developing story.
And working together to make sure your voice is heard. How several organizations are coming together to increase voter participation.
And here at 5:30, want to wish you a good morning from our team here on WRTV. I'm Lauren Casey. Rafael Sanchez joining us from Johnson County again this week. Rafael, good morning to you.
Lauren, good morning to you. I hope you've had a great weekend because this week, Todd Clausen is looking fantastic. We're beginning this morning. I stepped outside. It is cool. It is comfortable. It is A-okay.
Yeah, you know, tonight's probably the last, or this morning rather, is probably the last of the real cool nights. As we go throughout the rest of the week, we'll start to see our temperatures moderate for as far as overnight lows go. And here's your out-the-door forecast. Honestly, I haven't changed this probably in about a week and a half here, I think. It's just sunglasses and a light jacket needed as you get going. No rain in the forecast. We're extremely dry, and that's not going to change anytime soon. Hopefully by Wednesday or Thursday we can get a few showers in here. But this morning, no issues at all as you take on the roadways here to start your Monday. 43 degrees is the current temperature in Muncie, 42 down in Bloomington, still holding on the 50 from Indianapolis up I-65 to the Lafayette area with the clear skies. And as we expand out, the whole country is really pretty quiet as far as weather goes. The exception obviously has been the Gulf Coast as they dealt with Sally last weekend, and now we have Tropical Storm Beta, and it's Beta that will have the potential to bring us a few showers as we work our way into Wednesday evening. But today it's just a sun-filled day for us. Cool start, pleasant afternoon, and a mild evening with temperatures climbing up to right around 75 degrees as you head into the 5 o'clock hour. More on the rest of the week's weather coming up in just a few minutes, Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you are heading out the door this morning. Here's a live look on the east side, I-70 here, a view near Shadeland Avenue where traffic is picking up. You can see by all the headlights there on your screen. Just be aware as you're traveling in that area, we do have some construction still on westbound I-70. The off-ramp there to I-465 and Shadeland Avenue, that is scheduled to remain closed until 6 o'clock this morning. So for another half hour, you'll need to avoid that spot. We'll continue to keep you updated if you're traveling there on the east side. Well, we do continue to follow a developing story now. This is out of Kokomo, where an investigation is underway after 3 people were killed in a plane crash on Sunday. The crash happened around 11:30 Sunday morning near the Glendale airport. When emergency crews arrived, they found a plane on fire in a field. A 4th person on board was injured and taken to the hospital. An event being held at the airport at the time. Glendale Day's Barbecue Bash had food, bouncy houses, and offered airplane rides. At this time, it's not clear if the plane crash was connected to that event. Authorities have not released the names of the victims.
This morning, let's take you to Hamilton County. The search continues, Lauren, for a missing Carmel man. A 44-year-old Timothy Royster was last seen wearing a light gray long-sleeved pullover with a salmon-covered undershirt, khaki cargo shorts, white Nike hat, glasses, and Adidas shoes. Now, Mr. Royster was last seen around 8:30 Saturday night, leaving the area of Westfield Boulevard and Venice Drive on foot. You're asked to call Carmel Police if you see him. That number is 317-773-1282. Now to our Democracy 2020 coverage and the race for the White House. The election is 43 days away, and Lauren, it's expected to include a record turnout this year.
And so this morning, Raphael, our own Kelsey Anderson is joining us live with how a nonpartisan organization is trying to make registering to vote easier. Kelsey?
Good morning. So just 4 months ago, some strangers got together and started the organization Go Vote Indy in hopes of helping everyone learn how to vote and get over those hurdles that sometimes come with voting here in Marion County. So in honor of National Voter Registration Day, they are hosting a block party here at Hi-Fi Annex, and it will be an outdoor event, so social distancing will be possible and masks are required. Go Vote Indy, along with other grassroots organizations, will be here to help voters register, urge people to volunteer at the polls, and to drive other voters to the polls.
Everybody's working and voting together. That has a lot of power, and that has a lot of power to make huge change happen. And so when you say, or when you hear, your voice matters, your vote matters, it's absolutely 100% true.
So once registration closes October 5th, the focus turns to educating voters and making sure barriers that were in place for the primary election in Marion County don't keep people from casting their vote in the general election. So to vote in November, you must be registered by October 5th. And to vote absentee, you need to ask for that absentee ballot by October 22nd. So for more information on voting in Indiana and those deadlines, head over to WRTV.com. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
All right, Kelsey, thank you. Election Day is less than 2 months away, and let WRTV be your central source for all you need to know before November 3rd. Go to our Vote in 2020 digital section. You can find everything you need to know there, including who's on your ballot, where you can vote and when, how early voting works and when that starts, what mailing in your vote looks like, and any other questions you might have this election season. Keep a tab open at WRTV.com/vote in 2020.
So, Lauren, this is a proposal that could make Indianapolis the bubble location for a college basketball tournament this upcoming winter. A proposal presented by the Indiana Sports Corporation would host the tournament at the Indiana Convention Center in downtown Indianapolis. Now, according to that proposal, the cost would start at $90,000 per team. It would cover things such as the hotel rooms, food service vouchers, airport transportation, COVID-19 testing, and team lounges for meetings and activities. Indiana Convention Center halls would transform into 2 courts for competition. Masks would be required when traveling to and from the convention center, and once inside. We'll bring you the very latest as soon as we learn more about this plan.
As the pandemic continues, more and more families are dealing with food insecurities across central Indiana. So Girl Scouts and Kroger, they're working together to help. By 2025, the Kroger Foundation is on a mission to end hunger in communities that they call home and eliminate waste across the company. Well, now Girl Scouts are learning what they can do to help. A new patch program puts girls through Kroger's Zero Hunger, Zero Waste curriculum. We talked to 3 girls who earned the patch this summer.
Maybe if I can make a change in the world for people to not be starving anymore and all that, then maybe our world would be slightly different.
we hope that they learn about the fact that first of all, that there is food insecurity in Indiana, and that there are food deserts, and that there are things that they can do in their own school, in their neighborhood, in their community to actually make a difference.
Well, after completing the patch program, scouts are then encouraged to create a community garden, learn to compost, or host a recycling program. They're also encouraged to teach those around them about hunger in Indiana.
Hiring Hoosiers is our mission here at WRTV to connect you every single day to jobs. And today, you can join WRTV and Indiana Black Expo for a free Zoom webinar on preparing for virtual job interviews. This is happening this afternoon from noon until 2 p.m., presented by Cummins, with tips from Hiring Hoosiers partner Spherion Staffing. You can then put what you learned to use at our next virtual Hiring Hoosiers Employment Opportunity Fair. That starts at noon Tuesday, September the 22nd, and it's also free. Companies looking to hire include FedEx, First Merchants Bank, Indianapolis Airport Authority, Lowe's, and many more. For more information and to register, find this story at hiringhoosiers.com. But first, let's check in on our forecast on this Monday morning with Todd Clausen. Good morning, TK.
Raphael, good morning to you. Extremely dry here across central Indiana as you look at the rainfall deficit that we have here for September. And you notice southern locations and central locations, the rainfall deficit is a lot higher. 2 inches in Indy as well as Shelbyville, almost 2 inches in Bloomington. Then you get to some northern locations, and you've been really dry recently, but you did have quite a bit of rainfall in northern locations around Labor Day. And so that's why the numbers are not as large in Lafayette and in the Muncie area, but nonetheless, again, the last couple weeks have been really, really dry for us. Going forward in this forecast, rain chances late Wednesday into Thursday will start to bring in some small rain chances, I think, across parts of the area. Definitely not a drought-busting rain, not an all-day rain. It's going to be some scattered showers, but at least it's the potential to wet the ground just a little bit. As far as today, it's a sun-filled day for us from start to finish. Temperatures in the mid-70s. A really, really nice day for us. More in your 7-day planning forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you. The nation continues to add new coronavirus cases every day. Just ahead this morning, why health officials say the country is headed for a grim milestone.
Plus, Lauren, a judge blocking President Trump's ban on WeChat and TikTok. Coming up, why they say the order is unconstitutional. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV. The nationwide coronavirus death toll is on the brink of another staggering milestone. Nearly 200,000 Americans losing their lives. ABC's Megan Tevrizian reports that 27 states right now are seeing a rise in cases.
This morning, the U.S. facing 200,000 coronavirus deaths. In Washington, a somber tribute on Sunday. The National Cathedral bells tolling 200 times, 1 for every 1,000 deaths. Now, many doctors dreading the fall.
We don't have a clear-cut treatment for this virus, and we don't know if we're going to get a vaccine.
An annual bike fest at the Lake of the Ozarks ending Sunday after drawing more than 100,000 people, many without wearing masks.
You could ask every biker or whatever, anything going on in the world, it ain't going to stop us riding.
On Friday, President Trump insisting his administration will begin distributing a vaccine within 24 hours of its approval. But a new ABC Ipsos poll showed 53% of Americans surveyed have no confidence at all in President Trump to confirm the safety and effectiveness of a potential coronavirus vaccine. It comes as a congresswoman from Connecticut tests positive for COVID and as Hawaii prepares to reopen to visitors. Residents there frustrated with confusing COVID-19 restrictions that have resulted in 10,000 police citations in 1 week.
I've received complaints from even lawyers who couldn't understand what they were allowed to do and what they were prohibited from doing.
Meanwhile, new concerns at schools.
I just think it's very selfish and irresponsible.
An Attleboro, Massachusetts student testing positive, but their parents sending them to school anyway.
This one was an egregious violation of the rules.
30 students now in quarantine. And now some student athletes testing positive for COVID-19 have to undergo a cardiac evaluation that includes an echocardiogram before they're allowed to return to exercise. It comes as the Washington NFL team owner had to miss a game after coming in contact with someone who contracted the virus. Dan Snyder tested negative, but is quarantining as a precaution. Megan Tavrizian, ABC News, San Diego.
It is 5:46 back here in Indiana. More cases of COVID-19 reported over the weekend. The State Department of Health confirming 756 new cases of the virus on Sunday. 111,505 people have reported testing positive since the pandemic began. 3 new deaths were also reported, and the death toll now stands at 3,281. More than 1.3 million people have been tested for that virus so far. 8.6% of those tests have come back positive.
Police have made an arrest after a poisonous letter was sent to President Trump. Now, a woman was taken into custody at the New York-Canada border Saturday. Reports show that someone mailed a letter laced with ricin addressed to President Trump from Quebec. A test confirmed the presence of ricin after it was intercepted by law enforcement at the White House mail screening facility. Ricin is a toxic substance with a history of use in terror plots. We're still waiting to learn more information about that suspect. There's also a push this morning to acknowledge the greater impact of racism on health. 3 Democratic lawmakers have proposed the Anti-Racism and Public Health Act. It would create 2 new parts of the CDC, a National Center for Anti-Racism to research health disparities and to develop policies to close the divide, and a new program focused on preventing law enforcement violence. The bill also calls on the federal government to declare racism a public health crisis. Many state and local governments have already done and taken that move. Time to check your forecast on this Monday morning. And Todd, as I stepped outside this morning, wow. I'm going to keep saying wow because I hope it continues at least for another couple more weeks, because I know old man Winter wants to rear his head.
You know, it'll be here eventually. But tomorrow is the first day of fall. It's been feeling more fall-like in the mornings, especially Saturday. You woke up to temperatures in the 30s in some locations. It's not that chilly here this morning, but honestly, it's been great sleeping weather. Skies are partly cloudy here this morning. The temperature's at 50 degrees. The humidity is really, really low. Normally, the humidity in the morning hours is a little bit higher because the temperature is a little bit cooler. So when we talk about the humidity, it's relative to the temperature. So to see that number in the mid to upper 50s is kind of rare. It's very, very dry out there. The air, at least rare for here in central Indiana anyways. 43 right now in Muncie, 42 in Greencastle, 50 is the current temperature in Indianapolis. 42 is the reading as you make your way down into the Bloomington area. We need some rainfall. It's not going to happen today. Here's how your temperatures break down for you hour by hour. It's a cool start here this morning, and then with sunshine throughout the afternoon hours, you do notice we'll warm up pretty quickly. Mid-60s by the noon hour, mid-70s will be your high temperature later on this afternoon. Our average high this time of year is 76 degrees, so we're right on par for where we should be as far as high temperatures go for the mid to end of September. The skies are clear all across Indiana. There's one little front that's near Waterloo, Iowa. That's going to make its way off to our north. Not really going to impact us at all. However, what may potentially impact us, and there's a lot of variables here yet to figure out, this is Tropical Storm Beta. It's going to make landfall probably tomorrow. I mean, it's not far offshore, but it's just moving super slow, and eventually it's going to kind of curve up, and we'll have to see if that could potentially bring us a little bit of rainfall late Wednesday into the day on Thursday. It looks like most of it probably stays to our south. We're just hopeful for at least some rainfall here in central Indiana, especially to get it during the middle of the week. Won't be all that bad. 72 degrees still at 7 p.m. Sunset 7:43. Once the sun sets, we cool off into the 60s very, very quickly. And then as we go into tomorrow morning, we're down into the 40s. Tomorrow morning's probably the last morning that there's widespread 40s across the area, as you'll see in your 7-day planning forecast in just a second. Overnight lows are going to start to moderate a bit as well into the coming days. So mostly sunny tomorrow, 49 to start, going up into the mid-70s once again for your afternoon. afternoon high temperatures, and here is that 7-day planning forecast. Wednesday, partly cloudy, 79. A little more in the way of cloud cover, probably definitely as the remnants of Beta goes to our south. And then as we get into the weekend, there will be some rain opportunity as a front heads our way. But at this point, it doesn't look like a soaking rain in our forecast. But there are those overnight lows, Lauren, 50s starting on Wednesday, and then over the weekend, lows only in the 60s.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look right now at traffic. This is down in Johnson County. Good morning to you. I-65 here, a view near Whiteland Road at the exit there. Keep in mind as you're traveling through this area, and you maybe normally get off on Whiteland Road heading towards US 31. Well, yet last week they closed Whiteland Road just a little west of the interstate here, so you'll have to go eastbound if you get off on the exit ramp. Keep that in mind. It's not a big deal. You can take Hurricane Road as a detour east of the interstate. It kind of wraps you back around there to 400, and then you can always use Graham Road or just head over to US 31 as a detour. It'll just take you a few extra minutes there, so plan ahead for that. We'll continue to keep a close eye on traffic this morning and let you know if there are any crashes or delays. Raphael?
So, Lauren, by the way, they're building some warehouses at that interchange there on Whiteland Road, so that caused the delays last week, so just keep that in mind moving forward. This morning, a judge is blocking President Trump's ban on WeChat downloads, but that's just for now. A federal judge Sunday temporarily blocked President Trump's executive order to effectively shut down the popular app. The Commerce Department had issued restrictions against both TikTok and WeChat, citing national security issues. The judge says the ban represents a violation of free speech. The judge went on to say that there are other ways to complete such a ban, like barring WeChat from government devices.
Well, the annual Emmy Awards always make for a night to remember for TV entertainment, but last night's 2020 edition will be a little more memorable than usual. The 72nd Emmys are the most significant award show to go on since the pandemic. Comedian Jimmy Kimmel hosted the event in front of an empty Staples Center. There were a few cardboard cutouts of the nominees to keep him company. Nominees were instead watching from home, and they accepted the awards virtually. Some of the trophy presenters wearing hazmat suits for the handoff. Producers of the show sent more than 130 remote cameras to make it all work. Most other award shows like the Oscars, they had to postpone their dates further into 2021.
So we need to go visit this town, Lauren, a town showing what it takes to be a community. Coming up, how their kind hearts may inspire you on this Monday morning. You're watching Good Morning Indiana on WRTV.
Here's a feel-good story, and it tastes pretty good too, Raphael.
So more than 250 customers paid for each other's food at a Dairy Queen in Virginia. So let's take a road trip to Virginia. The general manager says it started early in the morning. A customer decided to pay it forward at the drive-thru. Then hundreds of people behind that person returned the favor for the next customer in line. Jenny Fleck manages the location and says the acts of kindness continued for hours. That is really, truly special. That's something we could all do anywhere, you know, Lebanon, Anderson, Muncie here in Franklin. So at the lunch hour, pay it forward.
All right, absolutely. Always good to pay it forward there, Raphael, no matter where you are. All right, temperatures this morning, look at that. Down to 39 now in Logansport. You're our cool spot here this morning. Kokomo, you're at 42. Bloomington at 43. Indy as well as Lafayette sitting at 50 degrees, and radar is nice and quiet. Despite the cool start, it's a seasonal afternoon for us with lots of sunshine as temperatures will eventually start to moderate through the 60s and into the mid-70s for your afternoon high. And then that high of 77 is 1 degree above our average high of 76. We'll talk more about your extended forecast coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV. Stay with us. We're back in just a couple minutes.